Chairman. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you all for your testimony. China currently holds the most exploratory leases issued by the International Seabed Authority. Of the 22 exploratory leases granted for 15-year terms, China holds 5, the most of any country, while Russia holds 2, and that means that nearly 30% of current exploration leases are controlled by our adversaries. Meanwhile, the United States is already heavily reliant on China for the extraction, processing, and refining of critical minerals. According to the U.S. Geological Survey's 2025 Mineral Commodities Report, the United States is more than 50% net import reliant for non-fuel mineral commodities, and China is the largest supplier, providing 21 minerals. To reduce our dependence on foreign adversaries, the Trump administration has committed to restarting domestic mining and cutting back regulatory burdens that have effectively shut down hard rock mining in the U.S. Given that polymetallic nodules on the ocean floor contain high concentrations of key critical minerals, we must consider offshore extraction as part of a comprehensive strategy to reduce reliance on China. Mr. Smith, given China's significant share of deep-sea mining leases, in your expert opinion, how capable are they of securing extraction leases from the International Seabed Authority, and what steps should the U.S. take to stay ahead?
The Chinese have a very clear plan with regards to developing their underwater mining technologies and developing that industry as they have done with terrestrial deposits. There's an instance of them taking all the different agencies that were dispersed across China and consolidating them into a centralized location at a port city and giving them the directive to develop this technology and to put this into being. And we know that on the extractive side, they've already built equipment, they've tested equipment, not at full ocean depth yet, but getting there. On the metallurgical side, they've done extensive work on extracting of metals out of the polymetallic nodules. And what we see is a government-led and government-driven initiative pushing industry through selective aid to get this technology and this industry off the ground. And following through on that, they will be successful to get to where they want to be. That is what they are determined to do, and we believe they will get there. Consequently, for the U.S., we find this to be a very interesting situation. The technology and the ability for the U.S. and the U.S. partners to counter this is very strong. The technology and the ability of the U.S. exists with this technology. In fact, the first instances of deep-sea mining technology were built and proven in the 1970s by U.S. companies. Yeah. And the U.S. currently leads in that field. What we are seeing, though, is that what we lack is the same thrust and push from the government and the support to make sure that the U.S. take this lead that we currently have with technology and what we've proven and turn it into an industry that we can rely on through mining not only our domestic resources, but also aligning with selective and aligned partners to be able to bring this to the market.
And Mr. Smith, I serve also on the House Armed Services Committee. You know, China recognizes the United States as its main adversary. Yes. There's times I sit on this committee, and by the way, China uses everything to them is about defense.
Yeah.
Here, we don't seem to look at it that way. We should, and we need to, but we're not as good at that as China is. Unfortunately, we need to get better. Mr. Dede, in our previous panel with Assistant Secretary Cease, I raised Colorado's plan to retire all of its coal-fired power plants by 2031, and I have a lot of concerns about that. Your testimony highlights future load growth, and the need for additional generation on our nation's grid. Do you believe Colorado's forced closure of coal-fired power plants will impact consumers' access to reliable energy as electricity demands continue to grow?
Congressman, yes, absolutely. As I stated in my testimony, we need more energy based on projected demand, not less. We need reliable, dispatchable energy. We need coal. We need gas. We need nuclear. What we really need in this country, and we're kind of seeing it actually, and it's very refreshing to see an all-that-works strategy as opposed to an all-of-the-above strategy. And what works is coal, oil, coal, gas, and nuclear. And when you talk about affordability, one of the reasons why electricity generation, you can look at the correlation of coal coming off the grid, renewables coming on the grid, and energy prices rise, and it's largely because of the unreliability and the intermittent power that you have to use a backup, and those coal plants and those gas plants weren't meant to ramp up and ramp down. Right. They were meant to run at 95% capacity all the time so that when you turn your lights on, the lights come on. And we're seeing in this country, in large major cities across the country, that have gotten accustomed to rolling brownouts. Because the supply just does not meet the demand, and that's third world stuff right there, Congressman. And we need to keep your coal plants online.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.